Hello and welcome to Becky's House of Sewing. I'm Becky and I'm in my house of sewing, and this is where I talk about all things thread and needle, mostly cross stitch and quilting, but there's trouble to be had in other crafts that have needles and threads. So we don't want to say no to those right off the bat. You never know. You gotta stay loose. You gotta stay open. You never know what's gonna hit the fancy pants. I also don't know what I'm talking about. So hey crew, it is May 22nd. Is that right? May 22nd, and it is later in the day. It's like 6:30ish. My sewing room faces west, so the sun will start coming down. So my light may change a little bit, but it sure is dreamy that it's 6:30 and it's not even hitting my sewing room yet. I know my solar powered friends love this time of year. So happy spring, moving into summer quickly. Memorial Day's around the corner. Who would have thought? Anyway, I need to pretend for a moment that we are at the tail end of last video. I made a grievous error. Grievous error. I had something ready to show you and brag about my wonderful neighbors, Ron and Connie, but promptly forgot. After the video was over, I remembered and said, maybe I should do another video and just kind of edit them together. And then a couple of days go by, I'm like, if I want to get a video out, I better just post what I have and beg for forgiveness later. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Ron. I didn't mean to forget your stuff. As some of you may remember, I went to QuiltCon in February and I bought a pair of scissors, which, if you are my friend, you know is not shocking because I have a thing for scissors. But I bought LDH scissors, and let me just tell you that I love them. They have a nice heavy weight to them. They are enamel handles, not plastic coated. They have a pretty gold rivet, and they cut sharply all the way to the tip. They have another version. Oh, don't you love that noise? They have another kind of tip to it too, if you wanted to. I got the sharp. Here, let's do this. I got the sharp pointed ones, but they do have kind of like a duckbill where it kind of is a blunted corner or a blunted tip. But my good friend Ron, who there's nothing he can't do or nothing he hasn't done. And I would be willing to go toe-to-toe with somebody to post something that you think Ron hasn't done, and 9 times out of 10, the man has done it, or dabbled in it, or participated in it. Since I have started my videos, he has been inspired to buy, much to Connie's chagrin, some antique sewing machines. He's been to a few quilting classes, gotten into sewing, and most readily he's gotten back to leather work and doing some hand sewing. So he made me these beautiful, I need to hold them this way, this beautiful sheath for my LDR scissors. Because they just came in a box, they didn't come with a sheath. And so this is his really cool logo that Connie helped him make. So these lovebirds met, I believe, online. But Connie is from the Carolinas and Ron is from Arizona, hence the Carolina cactus. How cool is that? I mean, great stamp. I can't talk more highly about this. You can see I've already kind of been wearing it out a little bit, but he hand stitched this and wet molded it so that it fits my scissors exactly. I love it. I have used them a lot. As you can kind of see, I'm getting it all scuffed up. using it as it should be. So thank you, Ron. I'm very sorry for the oversight. I hope that you weren't staying up late at night thinking about how I didn't talk about them. But I have now. If you would like followers, Ron, because I don't want to go posting your stuff. If you could please, in the comments, Ron, post your handle for Instagram. So if anybody would like to follow you on Instagram, because he does post, he's been doing like cool wallets and things like that. So they can reach out to you if they want anything. That's my friend. He made me this because he likes me. Connie likes me too, just to be clear. All right. Okay, now to this video. Welcome. I have a lot to share with you. I'm very excited. But just a little life update. I would have posted sooner, but my air conditioning was broken for about Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, about 10 days. Now, thank God it was like spring in May and we had fairly decent weather. But it was really humid in my house and I might have been a little grumpy. I was not being kept in the way that I expect to be maintained. My husband has become that customer with the HVAC company. We are now on that high maintenance list. We now have a new thermostat. We've been refunded on the other thing and we are up and running and cool air is blowing on me as we speak. I'm so happy. So yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Work is work. I'm doing great. Beautiful new lines coming out. There's exciting things to sell. If you would like me to come to your home and do a free design, just reach out to me. I'd be happy to. There's lots of great stuff going on at the Container Store. Elfa Decor Plus by Elfa is gorgeous. Our Preston line is amazing. And really, we can do anything. We can outfit your house or your sewing room or your closet or your garage. We just posted online. We did Kelsey's garage, I believe. Now I can't remember. Go to our website. We have a big thing that we did in somebody's famous garage. Anyway, okay. So I have a lot to show you today. So hope you have something to drink, settle in, and I'm gonna jump into the stitching. I did make a couple bags because of my haul. I made some bags and gave them away because sweet people. I am friends with sweet people. And I haven't really, I made another friend a bag, but that was a gift and that's already gone too. So I haven't really done much sewing machine sewing that I can show you, but I have done some cross stitch. I'm going to start with a peacock, a unicorn, a badger, because I had a page finish. Take a look at this beauty. Look at her. See if I can get it closer. So that is a page finish. So all this was one section of pages left to right. The next row starts the water. So I don't have, after this row, I don't have a full page section on the bottom, which is exciting. I'm gonna say I'm halfway done. Obviously I don't have the green background done in this section, but that's something I like to do when I'm getting together to stitch or watching a movie or something that I don't have to follow a pattern on. It's what I did for the top as well. As I finished all the motifs and then I did the background. So my current plan is, because this little guy here is the unicorn, so and he's mostly on, his head's on the second page, so I'm going to start with the second page and outline the unicorn, and then jump back over to the first page here and work my way left to right, is my current plan. But yeah, the other thing I've been stitching on is Manning May. For May, I started a Carolyn Manning design. Well, I should probably pull it up. Pardon me while I pull up. Let's go to the Container Store and see what that famous person's name is. I know it's an NFL player in Philadelphia. Kelsey's Garage. Go look it up. Hi, Becky. Okay, I digress. Let's go to GoodNotes. I no longer can stitch on anything but GoodNotes. Paper pattern is really annoying to me. So I highly recommend it. It just, being able to zoom in on things has been really helpful to me. And I think it's under cross stitch. And I believe it's under Desert Morning. So I'm doing the Carolyn Manning. It's called Desert Morning. It's 4 smalls. And this is here. Enough fiddling. So I've started on the upper right hand one. And I'm going to do them all in the same fabric. It's a full coverage. This is Zweigart Platinum, and it's 40 count. So I turn the corner on the bottom, and it's a nice repetitive pattern, so once you get the lay of the land, it's pretty easy. I have had to do several rip outs because I've used the wrong color in the wrong section kind of scenario. These are the pretty colors for all 4. Isn't it lovely? Really pretty. All DMCs. So that's been a fun start. I have one more start, but I want to show that to you kind of after haul, because it's related to haul. So let me start with things I've actually bought, which on Sunday we had a store meeting to introduce Decor Plus by Elfa. To know it is to love it. So Elfa is our tried and true first system, shelving and drawer system that we ever had at the Container Store from day one. We loved it so much that in the 80s we purchased the company. So we have helped develop a lot of things with Elfa. And if you're at all familiar with the Container Store, you're likely familiar with Elfa because we've had it for so long. It's so versatile. I love it. It's addicting. It's in every room in my home. Like right behind me and right over here. And that empty shelf right there. Yeah, it's a fantastic product. We have since given our wood version of Elfa a huge upgrade. Facelift. It's really pretty. If you're in the market for a custom space or a closet or a pantry or anything like that, look it up. Give it a try. I'd be if you're in the Charlotte area, I'd be happy to come to your home and do a design for you. But I digress. So Sunday's meeting ended early, and oh darn, I guess that means I have to go to one of my favorite stores, Stash. So I did. I don't need any of this, but I went anyway, and got to talk to the owner, Lucy, who I really like a lot and gotten to know over the years, and then people started coming in, so I had to shop, and I got some fabric. I wanted to treat myself to some Tilda fabrics. Isn't that pretty? Nice and bright. They had another version that was very similar colorway of like a French General, some pretty blues and creams and reds, but this spoke to me a little bit more because what I have in mind, and now this is a fat quarter bundle, way more than I need, but so I've had this for a while, and as you know, I have dachshunds. I love dachshunds. So I need to make this pattern. So don't you think, oh, nobody needs to know how much I spent. This, there we go, Bloomsfield. Don't you think that'd be a cute dachshund? There's a cute dachshund in there. I just know it. So I got that. And then I'm joining Caroline's Sal with Evertote. It's an artsy housewife, and Caroline, her artsy housewife and Evertotes in Canada are partnering up to celebrate Caroline's 50th birthday. I don't know if you know, I'm turning 50 in July. So is Caroline. Caroline is turning 50 on the 7th, and I was born on the 17th. So, and the artsy housewife is really cute, so of course I had to do it. And it's a big moth pattern. And of course there's a moth bag that the pattern was inspired by this fabric that they were making a project bags out of. So the bag wasn't available, or the fabric wasn't in the store soon enough to put into the box for the birthday box. So I got the birthday box. I've since bought the bag because I was like, well, I need a special bag for it. And I couldn't find moth fabric that I liked to go with the project. So I splurged and got the bag too. I haven't gotten any of it in my hot little hands yet. But when I was at Stash in Charlotte, I found this moth fabric. So even though I bought the bag, the moth bag, I still bought this fabric because it was pretty and it was on my mind. And this is actually part of the same line of that daisy print that I'm going to use for the background of the back of my pinwheel quilt, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, more fabric. And then I thought about, my halo quilt needs binding, and I think I've already changed my mind since I bought this binding fabric, but I like a stripe binding, so this is what I got from the Rifle Company. It's a navy blue stripe, and I thought that would be pretty as a binding, a bias binding. I might still use it, but as a facing. My mom and I were talking today at Stitching, and we think the facing would be a really good thing for the quilt. Binding is when you take like a 2.5 inch strip, fold it in half, sew it to one side of the quilt, and then fold it over and either hand stitch or machine stitch it down on the other side. So you're covering the edges of the quilt sandwich, so all the raw edges are tucked in. A facing is where you take that 2.5 inch strip and sew it onto the edge, but instead of folding it over the sandwich so that you see it from the front and the back, you fold it all the way to the back, and it still keeps the raw edges on the inside of the quilt, but it's like a pillowcase finish, for lack of a better term, where you're just seeing kind of the seam. You're not seeing the binding on the edge from the front of the quilt. Does that make sense? I hope it does. All right, so now we're into the meat of the situation. You need stitchy friends. You need friends that like to shop. Stitchy friends are good for several reasons. Not just because I think personally that all sewing is kind of a communal thing. Even though you do much of it alone, it is a communal situations where we can bond and talk and build community with one another while we're focusing on a project. If you think about the quilting ladies at a church where they would do hand sewing around a quilt frame, or if somebody had a quilt to quilt in the community before we all had sewing machines, everyone would come over every weekend, quilt a little on Sally's quilt. I grew up with Wednesday Stitchers, and that was like 12 ladies in my life for all my life, and meeting every Wednesday for a little bit of time to solve the world's problems and to stitch a little bit and create together. There's something about that community that is important to me, and I think if you're not part of a group, that you could have that same experience even by getting together with just one other person. So what I'm about to share with you is the generosity of people that I know in their stitching world. One of my friends just had their children move out of their house, yay, which means they get a sewing room, and then moving everything over, had a bunch of stuff to give, not to get rid of, but that she wasn't going to work on anymore, and having a sewing group, knowing that you could take it to see if anybody wanted it, and it would have a good home to somebody that would appreciate it, that you're not just donating it to Goodwill. It's important. So I'm going to start with that. I have to move things around. So one of my friends gave me this panel that came out a couple years ago. It's Lori Holt's bag panels. So you can cut these out and make project bags out of them. And here's some lining fabric of the same kind of line. And then Lori had some these really cool zippers. So she had a set of those. She had this cool little bag set to make this bag. It's like a little frame to it. And a block lock, half square triangles, ruler, which if you haven't ever tried these, you can see the frosted line in the middle. That's a 1/4 inch. So when you've sewn your half square triangle together, you can use this ruler to trim it up, and this little frosted area is grouted out. Let's see if I can show it properly. It's grouted out so that it locks into place on your seam, so you're getting an exact 4.5 inch square, which is pretty cool. She also gave me an embellishment of fabric that I've kind of already put away. So it's project bag fabric that coming to a bag near you. So that's kind of cool. And then the following time we met on Sunday, a new friend of mine who I'm happy to know brought an embarrassment of riches and let us just go to town on them. So it's a lot, and I was very excited. It was like Sunday was like Christmas, so I didn't even stitch. We got to peruse and shop and take home things and dream and all kinds of things. It was very fun. So you know who you are. Thank you so much. And I'm really glad to have met you outside of all this. This was not necessary, but I am relishing it. So I'm going to start with the fabric. This is just the fabric that I was able to take home. So this is a combination. I have 128 lakeside count in here for like a 1/1 project if I'm ever ambitious enough. But what's in here is 36 and 40 count mostly, and it's Atomic Ranch, it's Fox and Rabbit, it's good stuff, people. How fun is that? So I did get, like, these are the nice basics here. Lakeside Linen, Atomic Ranch, I think I already said that. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Then here are some other fun colors. Look at this mottled green and blue. Isn't that fun? More Lakeside in there. And then I got, and now I don't have projects for any of these, of course, but you know, they caught my eye, thought they might work. So these are some darker browns. Bestitch Me is in here. Some reds, browns, etc., etc. So totally fun. But then there were some boxes of threads. Now, the reason why the stitcher brought these is because her taste has changed. She's decided that she doesn't really like mottled fabric. She doesn't really like variegated threads or over-dyed threads. She just wants to stitch with DMC, which is beautiful. One of my favorite threads. But I've been dying to try Color and Cotton. She had a box of Color and Cotton. So she had joined a Thread of the Month club, and apparently she's been in it for a couple years. So what I'm about to show you is 2 years worth of Color and Cotton Color of the Month. What? So I don't know really where I'm going to store these, so I just went ahead and did them by color. So greens. This is not in the Roy G. Biv. So I got some reds and pinks. I got some oranges and yellows. Got some cool neutrals, whites and grays, and one black. Only one black in 2 years. Really? Purples and some violets. Brighter pinks. Here's some browns. Look at all this. It was, you know, some of these are like, in the camera looking a little more green. I went through them a couple of times. It's really hard to get them classified. And then the blues I broke into 2 different groups because I had a heavy turquoise section and then some other blues. Right? She also had, Mia, do you want up here? My sweet puppy dog wants to say hello. Hi, Mia. Yeah, say hi to the people. Don't kiss me. Don't kiss me. Mwah. Let me kiss you. Just look at that face. Just look at that face. The face of a killer. Okay, well, go lay down. You're so tired. Go lay down. Color and Cotton's not all I got. There's like some random things like Roxy Floss Co., Country Garden. There were some random silks, and there was a box of sulky threads, sulky petite threads, which leads me into inspiration. So since Sunday, my little group has been texting back and forth of all the things we've kitted up and started thanks to this friend. So we're like, look what I started, thanks so-and-so. So here is a smattering of my sulky threads. And this, I probably have 3 times as much as what this is. I just kitted this up. because I've had this particular chart has been in my family since 1981. So this is a chart here. My mom tried to deny that she owned this, but her signature's on it. So this is a chart from 1981 that was sold for $3.50. And I just want to show you, I'm not going to show the whole chart because hashtag copyrights, but I just want to show you where we're coming from. So back in the day, we had handwritten charts. We now have software for this, but look, there's even a stamp on it. But all that is hand written on graph paper. It's so old, it doesn't even have the 10 mark hash lines, right? So I've had this chart and wanted to do it for a while. Once my grandmother passed away, my mom kind of destashed a little bit, and then now we're back into cross stitch. So she's doing working out of her stash as well. But something about this has always appealed to me. But the colors were a little outdated. So what I did is I decided to use the sulky threads to kind of make my own color conversion. And I decided that after I saw this particular 32 count Lakeside linen. This is, let me pull it out here. This is Sea Storm by Lakeside Linens, 32 count. Some of my friends covet Lakeside linens, and it is a very nice linen to stitch on. I don't know enough to say that I would go to the ends of the earth for Lakeside linen, but all the Lakeside linen I've ever had is really pretty. And so this is what I've done so far. This fabric, just for some reason I wanted to do it on blue and not on white. And this is where I'm at. Pardon the thread. I should probably just move that all together. Oh no, now you can't see anything. Oh, a tragedy. I don't know if that's any better. That's not helping the situation, Becky. I didn't think this part out, so sorry. Oh, disaster! Disaster! So, I'm really pleased with the conversion so far, the things I've changed. These flowers, I got confused on the color. They really should, these leaves are really supposed to be this color. So after I realized it after I finished all of them. I really like how they look. I may just leave them, but that color combo may affect other areas, so I moved on to other things. But this is the L, and I started the A over here, because once I discovered this, I started the A down here so I can get a couple the motifs knocked out to see if I want to change them back to the light green or not. But that's what I've been working on since Sunday, as I rolled around in all the stitchy goodness. So thank you so much, all my stitchy friends. I really appreciate you. And really, now this is an extreme case. This is not what happens at every stitch group. And it's not necessarily expected, but it is real nice to come and again have a small group of people that appreciate what you're working on, or have a kinship over a craft of any sort. So being able to swap and trade and ooh and ah over things, or make cute stitchy gifts for people who actually appreciate them, because as I'm making this, I mean, it will look really good in the Goodwill later for somebody who wants to do that. Oh, I didn't show you the charts. So what I was trying to say before I got distracted by charts is just that find yourself some stitchy friends. Not just because you can make out like a bandit from time to time, but because it's important to have some kind of community around things. Now, if you're in a no man's land, which is possible, things can happen. You know, use YouTube as your stitchy friend. I'm happy to be your stitchy friend. We can stitch together. Let me know if you need to. But also, like Pam and Steph of Just Keep Stitching, they have a hashtag every week to try and help people find friends. Because there's not a lot of local needlework stores out there. Some areas have more than others. And it's hard to find your tribe in that way. But definitely search on the web. Facebook is a great place. The Tar Heel Stitchers Facebook group is a great place if you're in the Carolinas, where people introduce themselves and introduce meetup groups and things like that. So it's definitely a great way to find out about retreats and etc., etc. Weekly meetings or monthly meetings or bi-weekly meetings, things like that. So definitely get yourself some friends. Sorry, look at the sun. Ooh, ooey, ooey. It's coming down. So these are some of the charts that I was able to snag. I'm going to start with this one here. Just the hedgehogs. They're really cute. I got this one. There's something about this is really nice. The back shows, and when I saw the back, I was like, oh yeah, I remember when this one came out. This came out during one of the retreats, I think, and the original is done on paper, perforated paper. And then I got this Liz Matthews one. I got a bunch of other charts. I had another viewer that had seen maybe 6 months ago when another stitchy friend had a stash unload that she brought to us before it went to Goodwill kind of scenario. And I had a bunch of things to say, hey, did anybody want any of these? But I've already distributed those. They're out in the wild. So knowing that this came up, she had asked for some of those charts because she had just moved and had to de-stash, and now it's time to build the stash again. So I grabbed a bunch of those charts and already mailed them off. So Stitchy Happiness is headed to somebody's doorstep as we speak. Now this next one is a Blackbird design series that I've seen. A lot of people were doing this a couple years ago, and it is really pretty. I had no intention on really doing this, but she had all 12 of them. The Garden Club series. And here's kind of what it looks like when it's all put together. And the point of it was to kind of have it a little wabi-sabi. You're using different fabrics, all the same counts, and then sewing things together kind of in a patchwork style. I've seen somebody do it, several people do it just on one piece of fabric as well. But it's all real pretty. And it's Blackbird. So, when you can get them all for free, one should take it. And honestly, that's how I got a peacock, a unicorn, a badger too. That was a stash unload from Stitching Group as well. And I just went nuts. I was like, I can really have this? You're really okay if I take this? Just made my day. So I'm excited. I have these. It can be a cute project, or I can do them as smalls. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. But look how pretty. Pretty, pretty. Pretty, pretty. Oh, here's another view of it as it comes along. yeah. So I've got the series now. And I'm looking around. I pulled this out because if anybody has any what questions about color conversions, there are people on Flosstube that are kind of renowned for it, have an eye for it, have a knack for it. Colorado Cross Stitcher had a great couple of videos about how to think about the color, whether it's warm or cool, how to change it up if you're not quite happy with it, but you kind of want to stay with the same family. And I just wanted to say that I am not an expert on color theory, but it is, because of what I like to dabble in and sew with, it is an interesting topic to me. And I've had a couple of books, listened to a couple of podcasts, and I've got color wheels. These are really big versions. I also have a small version, but this is very helpful. And they're not expensive. Like on Amazon, I think these were $9 for 2 of them. So, I mean, they can take a lot of abuse, but, and I'm sorry, no, let me turn this way, because the lighting is, the sun's coming down. But this will really help you figure out what's going to work. And when I use this with my halo quilt. So because it was real scrappy, I wanted it to kind of be not rainbow, but I wanted to have all the colors represented. So I was able to use these and help figure out, as I had center blocks, like what was going to be a complementary, what could go with it that could be interesting. So out of the things, because I just ended up cutting a lot of things, and then I would kind of break them up into colors and go from there. And then this is another good way if you wanted to add more white, adding blue, adding white, adding black. So that kind of really helps you know too if you're going darker, warmer, that kind of stuff. And there's good information on these color wheels. So again, you can go to a local art store if you're in the Charlotte area. Somebody's into a bag out there. My husband is gone, so pardon me. I was like, what? Is there somebody? Is there a break-in? If you are in the Charlotte area or in Boone area, Cheap Joe's is a great place to go. They have all art supplies, and they also sell these, so that's a good place to go. Again, Amazon has them as well. I'm sure if you go to Michael's or Joann's, you could probably find a color wheel as well. So it's just handy to have if you're interested in maybe changing up colors. For whatever reason, I was completely drunk with power and emboldened to just change up what I wanted on this pattern. And I'm excited to see how it turns out and kind of brighten up with these colors. And what I did to pick out the colors, because again I was inspired by the blue, so I did kind of a floss toss with the colors on the blue, but then I used the chart, because again 1981 was a long time ago, and though it's charted with DMCs, I'm sure the DMC dialots have changed since then. So there's Susan Bates Anchor and DMC that is scheduled in here, and she also did it in pastel color, which did not appeal to me at all. I mean, it's pretty, but it just didn't appeal to me. I like the boldness of this, and I just wanted to change these flowers from more brown to more yellows, and I wanted to change the stems to more green. So I kind of picked the colors stated like light green, dark green, so I picked a medium green to go with the stems. I still wanted to do a brown for other of the stems, and then picked 2 blues I liked, picked the a yellow, gold, and an orange instead of the brown, and then I picked a red that I liked. And thanks to my Stitchy friend, I had them all in that little stash. I really like these. Now I can't remember the name of them, but I got them. They're an English company, and I want to say they're Echo Pods or something similar to that. But they work really well with 103s or the Goblins as well. But what I like about them is that they don't fall. They're flexible, so they work well over my armchair, and they're quiet. I know my friends at the Curious Crafters, they like the Container Store acrylic drawers, and they are beautiful. I would like them to store them. I would not like to use them while I'm stitching. They're too loud. I started with one of the acrylic organizers with a hinge lid, not one of the drawers, and I didn't like it. It doesn't work for my stitchy spot. But I digress, and I'm kind of also rambling. It's a fairly long video for me. We're approaching 45 minutes, so I think I'm gonna go get in my pajamas, cook me up a pizza, and get to stitching. That's the plan. Thanks for joining me. Really appreciate you watching. I hope that you come back and enjoy some more. And I hope you find in your world some stitchy friends that can be as generous as my friends. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.